It's Peter Florio versus Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings fan base. Florio, who's been doing this for 20-something years, he said on the Pat McAfee show, is coming with these credible sources that Kirk Cousins and his family are planning to move to Atlanta this offseason when he signs with the Falcons. This take is presented by Hochland Farm. Check out Hochland Farm for rotationally grazed, 100% grass-fed beef. They sell it in quarters and halves, and they also have custom sample packs so you can try before you buy. Contact Jared at 952-491-1541. Tell Jared you heard about Hochland Farm on the Minnesota Tim podcast and get a 20% off offer right away. 20% off by mentioning the Minnesota Tim podcast, Hochland Farm. So the discussion is, can we trust what Mike Florio is saying on Pro Football Talk, or is what he's saying all gibberish? And I think the way to tell is based on the consistency of all reporters around the NFL. You can't take one guy and say, okay, this guy's 100% right. You can't take, one moron out there that's just going to come with this rambling BS, because it might not make any sense, even though maybe this guy's been doing it for 20-something years. But here's why I trust what Mike Florio is speaking. It's because of a few things. One, I don't think he would put his name on this if he didn't think it was accurate. Because Florio is a big name in the football circles. He's been doing this Pro Football Talk thing for a very, very long time, and he's been a credible source for a very long time. And Kirk Cousins is the number one free agent option. I don't think Florio is going to say he's moving to Atlanta if he's unsure or even questioning if it's true. The second reason is because he is not the only one saying what he's saying. Kevin Seifert of ESPN posted an article earlier today saying it's probably likely that Kirk Cousins is going to move his family to Atlanta when you look at Kirk Cousins' past and what the Minnesota Vikings are willing to offer Kirk Cousins right now. I would give Kirk Cousins a less than 5% chance of him returning to the Minnesota Vikings this offseason. And I have no sources. I'm no Mike Florio. I'm no Kevin Seifert. But based on the consistency of the reporting, based on what everybody is telling us, including the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings, they've said, yeah, Kevin O'Connell said, I want Kirk Cousins back. Kwesi said, I want Kirk Cousins back. But you've got to read in between the lines. They didn't say, I want Kirk Cousins back at yada, 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 this $1 million per year. They said, Kirk has his agenda, we have our agenda, and we'd like to meet in the middle somewhere. I don't think Kirk Cousins has interest in meeting in the middle. I think he wants to be a starting quarterback in the NFL for multiple years to come to finish off his career. And the Minnesota Vikings don't have interest in Kirk Cousins being the long-term starter in Minnesota for multiple years. We have two sides clashing because Kirk Cousins wants long-term starter possibilities. And the Minnesota Vikings are not offering that. So the Minnesota Vikings, they don't want him back on a multi-year deal, especially guaranteed. And the Atlanta Falcons, they do want him back. They do want him, for the first time in multiple guarantees. So, a lot of people are criticizing Florio for saying what he said. They don't believe him, but I do believe him. I do believe he has credible sources. I do believe that he's sharing logical, factual information. Because Kirk, as much as we love him in Minnesota, facts are facts. He's won one playoff game. 6 years. All that guaranteed money. one playoff win. I don't get why Minnesota fans are obsessed with Kirk Cousins returning. And I am on board with saying he's a borderline top 10 quarterback in the league. But you need way, way more from a quarterback with the roster the Minnesota Vikings have currently constructed. And if you bring Kirk Cousins back, you're not going to be able to construct the defensive roster needed with a rookie quarterback or first-year, second-year starter to win games for a long time. Those are just facts, man. This is the truth. So, Kirk, you're probably gone. And I love you, the person. I enjoy watching him play on the football field. And I'm sure there's going to come a day where multiple podcasts are coming out and saying, hey, should we regret not re-signing Kirk Cousins? Did we take for granted Kirk Cousins in Minnesota Vikings uniform? All those things are going to happen because it's just what we do. But I think it's time. I think he's gone because I've seen it multiple areas. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode. Again, check out Hokeland Farm. Contact Jared, 952-491-1541 for 20% off your first order by mentioning the Minnesota Tim podcast. Everyone, take care and have a great day.